Hi everyone, welcome back to my Flosstube. My name is Rachel and this is Lemonade Stitching. Today is Sunday, June 30th, and I have lots of cross stitch updates to share. It's been about 3 weeks since my last Flosstube, and I have done a little bit of everything. I've had a finish, an FFO, several new starts, and I've worked on some whips as well. Ever since getting home from StitchCon, I have just been inspired and just want to cross stitch all the time. I wish I was more inspired for more of like my current whips, but nevertheless, I have been very inspired just about cross stitch in general. All I want to do is shop for patterns, look at new patterns, make plans for things I want to stitch in the future and things that I can do and just get creative, as well as, you know, physically stitch and look at the patterns in my stash. But it's just been a big cross stitch a couple of weeks. So yeah, I'm just gonna jump right into it. Like I said, I have lots of projects to show you, and then I also have some plans and acquisitions to share as well. These are in no particular order other than finishes first and whips after that. So let's jump into it. So the first FFO I have to show you, first and only FFO I have to show, is Strawberry Fair by October House Fiber Arts. And here she is. I stitched this on 40 count, just like a beige neutral linen, and then I stitched it into a pillow with a red back. This is just some scrap red fabric I had in my stash, and this is I'm actually gifting to a coworker. So I was really eager to get this FFO'd as quickly as possible once I like recovered and had enough mental capacity to sit down and sew a good pillow. But I finished this at StitchCon, and this was part of the hashtag Strawberry Moon Sale hosted by Marjorie from Marjorie Made. So I was really excited to start, finish, and FFO this in the month of June. And here it is again because it's just so cute. I can't not show it again. And I did use all of the called for DMCs, and it was my first project on 40 count, and I'm kind of obsessed now. I kind of just want to stitch 40 count all the time. It's all I want to do. But I don't think I've started anything else on 40 count yet. So I FFO'd this Friday, I think. I have my tablet down here. I've recently become an iPad stitcher. Got my first iPad, and it is life-changing. I wish it wasn't, because I don't want to be like, oh, I need an iPad to stitch, but I'm kind of hooked to having my iPad when stitching now. I don't think I can do it without it, or at least I don't like to do it without it. The next project I have to show you is a finish as well, not FFO'd yet, but this is Good Friends, and I think this was by Sue Hillis. It was a StitchCon freebie from the StitchCon passport, and I stitched this with Bridget the Museum Stitcher, Cam from Cam the Stitcher, Marjorie from Marjorie Made, Elizabeth from Frizzy Lizzy Stitches, and Maddie from Kitty Stitch. We all sat together and we got these free ornament samples from Millennium Fabrics. And so these millennial fabrics, not millennium, millennial fabrics, and they're 18 count Aida. I got Dove, which is like a green gray, depending on the lighting and thread that you're using, and then the rest of the girls got purple. I don't remember what the actual colorway was called, but we all stitched the same pattern on the same essentially fabric, and we did all the same colors and conversion, and I just think it is so cute. A couple of the girls have gotten round frames to put theirs in. I'm kind of leaning towards a round like magnet finish, but I haven't committed to anything yet, so it's still just plain, but I love her. It's so cute. And I have a couple strands left, so I'm trying to find, like, of each color, so I'm trying to find a good project that I can use my like leftover bits of floss when I finished up projects. So like if it's not enough to do a whole nother project or something, maybe, you know, like a couple of motifs with it or one motif or something. I'm trying to find a good project for that. So if anyone has any ideas, let me know, because I want to, like, I don't know, it could be like a trip down memory lane. Like, look at all these projects I've done. TBD. I'm always thinking. Like I said, I've been really inspired lately, coming up with all the ideas. So there is my finish. My next project to show is Autumn's Glow. I have shown this several times, but I got a lot of stitching done on this since you last saw it. I'm trying to be better about doing progress photos, but I'm not better yet. So I'm gonna take progress photos like today and moving forward, so that hopefully starting in my next video we'll have some good photos to see where we are from video to video. But if you want to see where this was last time I showed it to you, you'll just have to go watch that Flosstube, because I am not good at taking pictures of a lot of my pieces. But here is the cover photo. I guess I could show that first. This is from the Just Cross Stitch October 2023 magazine, and it's absolutely stunning. I'm so obsessed. I immediately bought this PDF when I saw it on Instagram. I didn't even wait a full day. I was like, nope, you're coming home with me. I need that right now. And I am stitching this 2/2 on a tea-dyed Charles Craft linen, 28 count with all the called for DMC. And it is just absolutely gorgeous. I don't even know what to say about it other than it's stunning. So the bottom page is done because it's split into 2 pages. And so basically the top of the lantern, right here is the page break. So the pumpkin is essentially the bottom half, and then the top is the top page. So the bottom page is almost completely done, with the exception of some back stitching that I wanted to wait on, the long stitches. I didn't want to put those until we were completely done with it. Whereas the single back stitches, I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll put that in. But the colors just look so good, and every time I do more, it looks even better. So that is Autumn's Glow, and now that I have an iPad, I can tell you things like the fact that I'm 74% done. So really, really close. I mean, not really, really close, but pretty close. So this is probably gonna get put away for about a month, which I'll talk about in my plans, but I don't anticipate getting any more progress on this until August, which is really sad, but I've also been working on it a lot lately, so it's time to give some other projects some love. And I'll just show you guys, there are so many colors in this. Look at this monstrosity of floss. There's so many. There's so many bobbins. I was really struggling to work on this one actually for a little while, because just with the sheer amount of floss, when I first started, I had it on the floss drops, on a floss ring like this, but it was just too much to manage. So I took everything off the floss ring and I put them in a small bobbin box that perfectly fit the number of bobbins that I have for this project, which is probably 50 or something obnoxious. And so I was doing that, but I really do not like having to rewind my bobbins and put them away between each color. And so that was it's just an extra step, and it was so tedious. So it was either I put the colors away every time, or I made a huge mess. So I didn't really want to pull this out for a while because of that. But then I decided to just put everything back on the floss ring and deal with the mess. And that has been going really well. And I've also organized it by color instead of by number. So now all the reds are together, all the yellows and the browns and the greens, which has made it a lot easier, because with the shadows and dimensions in this piece, you're really stitching, if you're stitching 1 red, you're stitching 4 or 5. So that's worked out really well. So a helpful tip, if you're ever overwhelmed with your lots of, if you have a lot of floss in one project, try organizing them by color instead of by number. Next project we're gonna pull out is Birdhouse Garden. And this, I think I only worked on, once since you last saw it, but I did get a solid 500 stitches in. So I'll show you the cover photo, which I don't have, so I'll put a picture of it. This is Birdhouse Garden, which is a sunset kit, and my grandma actually started this and passed the whip on to me, and so I am finishing it. And I do have this one on the iPad. This one is at 80% done, so I'll give you a full overview. Absolutely stunning. Again, the colors are gorgeous. and I was working down in this bottom section here, like the wooden post, and extending over to the side is what I worked on since you last saw it. But I'm just, oh, this one's so pretty. Every time I pull it out, I'm like, oh, that's so pretty. But then when it actually comes time to work on it, I'm like, I don't want to work on that. But I love it. It's coming out super well. That 80% does not include any back stitching, which is a bummer because there's back stitching on the whole thing. But this piece, I decided I'm just gonna wait till the end and do all the back stitching at once. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I have about 5,000 stitches left on this, I think, till it's done. So it's coming along. This, I'm not making it a priority to be a 2024 finish, but I'm definitely gonna make it a priority to be a 2025 finish. That is for sure. And this is just on 14 count ivory Aida, just the kit Aida and kit floss. Next project I have to show is Let's Make Memories. And this is by Imaginating. And so here is the cover photo. Love it. And I started this at StitchCon, and I worked on it one other time since I last made a video. The theme of this, the last couple of weeks, is stitching on something for like 1 to 2 days and then stitching on something else, or stitching on like 3 different things in one day. Because that's just what the vibes have been. So I am stitching this 2/2 on 28 count opalescent linen. I hope you can see the shimmer there, but I have 3 shutters done now, 3 camera shutters. And I think the last time we saw it, I only had the top one done. So that's where we are with making memories, or Let's Make Memories. I always forget what like the technical name of this one is. But it's cute, it's easy, it's not too hard. This one, I like took a picture of the chart and I'm marking it off in GoodNotes. So I don't have an exact percentage, and it's also hard to get an exact percentage just because there's so much back stitching. Like after I do the shutter in the middle, most of the rest of the pattern is backstitched, other than like a couple of the bolded words. But I'm really excited. This is gonna be a gift when I finish it. So, love it. And here's the grays. Megan from the Seattle Stitcher showed in a couple of videos ago how she keeps her flosses like wound up like this, like she twists it on itself, and ever since she showed that, I have not been able to stop like twisting mine into these little hanks. I just think it's the cutest way to keep them organized in my bags. And then I have like 12 dozen black threads in here. I thrifted like a whole bag of JP Coats black and a whole bag of JP Coats white. And so I just tossed them all in there, and I was like, well, we'll see what's left when I'm done and do something with them then. The next whip I have to talk about is Modern Pop Art Strawberries by Box and Fox. So this is the cover photo. This is what it's gonna look like when it's complete. And I am currently 13.79%. And so since you last saw it, I have finished the top strawberry as well as the next little strawberry. So I hope the colors are showing up okay. But there it is. And I've got my cute little strawberry needle minder. And this one is stitched on an 18 count white Aida with the called for DMCs 2/1. I thought about doing this 1/1 just because it's so fun to stitch one stranded, which I learned on my Strawberry Fair project, but I really want this to be those like bold, strong colors with no fabric showing through, so I decided to keep this 2/1 on the Aida, and I think it's super fun. It was giving me a really hard time when I first started stitching it. Like for some reason, I could just not get the threads to lay nicely. My stitches look like garbage, but I think now that I've gotten a little bit more into it, it's starting to look okay. I don't know what it was, why it was doing that, but it's okay. This is a nice easy project. Probably will be like a car road trip project at some point in the future, but for now it's gonna go away. It was my second start for #StrawberryMoonSal, And so it's just gonna get put away for a bit, and I don't know, she'll be seen again, but like, I don't know when. So, and here's the flosses for this one too. They're super cute. Very summery. Maybe in August I'll pull her out. Love. My next whip to share is Jacs View. And here that is. Hope the glare isn't too horrible. But this is a full coverage piece. And it's got the little black and white kitty. And it just reminds me of like a European vacation. So I love it so much. Right now I'm just working on the 2 doors. I have not kitted up the center because there's a ton of floss in here. And I didn't want to do that. So here I am stitching this on a 14 count, like gridded, what is this? Easy count, Ada? So here's the overview. I'm almost down a whole side. This might actually be the bottom. Let me check. Yeah, this is the bottom of the piece. So this is the full length. And I'll give you like a pan of the door. So I was just working on getting the green pulled down and just making my way down to the bottom. And this is about 16%, I think. I'm still working on getting this pattern into markup because it's one that I had to like scan, and the symbols are like hand drawn, so there's a lot of selecting the correct symbols, but it definitely is helping to be able to keep track of what I've done and what I haven't, and it's just easier than using a highlighter. So super cute, love it. I think I just pulled this out once, so just to get a little progress in, nothing too major. And I think I was debating whether or not, before I put this away, if I wanted to, like once I finish this door, start in the middle and then get to the other door, like if I trusted myself to count all the way over to the other one. But I think I do trust myself. Like, it's easy gridded fabric. How badly can I mess up the counting? I feel like I can do it, but that is a problem for me once I finish the door. I'm not gonna worry about it just yet. I really thought I had more new starts to show you, but apparently it's only one. Which I guess is good. I feel like in my head I've started like 7 things. So basically all this means is that I can start way more. But so this start I'm really excited to talk about, and it will transition well into my acquisitions because I kitted this up this week. Like literally everything got delivered yesterday for it and I started it right away. But this is Delft Blooms by Sprouting Lupine, and last year I stitched the Love Bug sampler for #LoveBugSale, also hosted by Marjorie from Marjorie Made, and I did a purple on purple conversion, and it was really fun. And I did it because I wanted to be part of a sale. It was my first stitch along and first time using linen, and I was really excited about it, but I was bummed because I still don't know what to do with it, because it's just not something I'm gonna hang up. Like, it's super cute, but it doesn't match my decor, which is obviously like none. No, this room is just boring. There's decor in other places of the house, but yeah, I just didn't want to hang it up, so I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. But when I started that project, I saw Delft Blooms on Sprouting Lupine's Etsy, and I was like, that is stunning, love her. So I kind of mentally added it to my wish list, but in the last year or so since I've started and now finished the Love Bug Sampler, I haven't been called to work on that. But then Sprouting Lupine posted on her Instagram a couple weeks ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago now, I forget, that she was coming out with a companion piece, which is Delft Beetles. And once she posted about it again, I saw there was 2 pieces. I was like, well, now I have to do it. And so I instantly bought both of the pieces, and I'm actually going to be stitching both of them and then putting them together as a project bag. So I'm going to do like 1 piece on the front, 1 piece on the back, and it's just going to be a small bag. I think it'll be like 7.5 by 9 is the finished-ish size of the chart. So I love it. They both use the same colors, they're the same size, so it'll go really well together. And I was really excited to use some of the blue fabric that I got at StitchCon because I went from having no blue fabric to like 4 different pieces of blue fabric, but of course none of them were the perfect blue, so I did buy some new fabric. And I also bought all the floss because although I had most of the colors, at least some of the colors in stash and like a partial skein of most of them, I didn't have enough to do, you know, 2 full projects. And these use like 2 to 3 skeins, like a full skein for a full project. So I wasn't gonna risk it by using like an old colorway of DMC and then needing to switch and it was different and whatever. I was like, that's it, I'm just kidding up the whole thing. So I am stitching this on 32 count, picture this plus Lugana in the color Mercedes, and it is a gorgeous blue. So this is the full fat quarter. It's like white with blue modeling, very cool blue modeling, and I'm obsessed. It is absolutely perfect. Love her. And so I'm stitching one over here, and then we'll cut it, fold it, and we'll have it back. So this is my little start on Delft Blooms. I am gonna stitch this whole one first before I do the beetles. There is some stitching in the middle here. I don't know how well it'll show up on camera, but I love it. It's so cute. And I love the blues, and I'm just obsessed. I've also been converted to a Morgan hoop girl. Bridget and Kim were both talking about their Morgan hoops when we were at StitchCon. And I was like, I don't know, like it can't be that good. And then I tried Bridget's and I was like, oh, gotcha. So I am now part of the Morgan hoop gang. I've been using it ever since I got home from StitchCon. I absolutely love it. I have not touched my Nerd hoop since I've gotten home. Especially since I have my iPad, so I don't have to put the pattern on the fabric anymore. So yeah, most of the time I stitch it like this, so I'll hold the thick part of the hoop in my hand like that. But this one I was stitching upright because I clipped a book light on here because I wanted the lights to be dim for the movie that I was watching last night. So I just kind of struggled through it. But it wasn't a struggle, it's still a great hoop and I adore it. So that is Delft Blooms, and that is the first of my acquisitions, as well as a new start. So I started this yesterday. I got 319 stitches in, which puts us at 3.9%. So I've got a ways to go, but it's so fun. And I feel like it's good block stitching. Like there are areas of one color, it's not really confetti heavy, but it's not like I'm stitching 100 or 200 stitches of one color in like a rectangle, you know, like it switches up enough to keep it interesting. So this is today's project, the current hyperfixation, which is why it's still in the hoop, because I'm probably gonna go right downstairs and start working on this before I even edit this video. So that is that, and I'm keeping it in this cute project bag that I made. You have seen this before. But this is the one that has like a bunch of different colors on it, and I figured since it had blue fabric on it, it was only right to keep it in this bag. If you are not interested in acquisitions, you can feel free to skip ahead a little bit to my plans, which is going to be the last section of the video. I really don't have many. I think I had the 1 2 3 stitch order for the Delft Bloom stuff, as well as a couple of flosses, and then I had one other order from a local-ish cross-stitch shop that is actually closing. It was a Louisville-based cross-stitch shop, and I just so happened to be looking up if there was a cross-stitch shop in Louisville, Kentucky, and I found it and I was like, oh, this is so exciting, yay, because I was planning to be spending a day in Louisville, and I went to their website and they were closing, but it worked out because they were having 50% off sale, so I got a bunch of stuff pretty affordably. So I'll just run through that really quick. I got several patterns. The first one is Spring Arbor by the Drawn Thread, and I've never seen this chart before. I guess this is a full chart, but then this is just the cover photo here. It's these gorgeous little trees, and I'd never seen it before, but I really like it. It's really sweet. I don't have any current plans to stitch it, but it's $5. I was like, how can I pass that up? So I got Spring Arbor. Then I got a Palm Street Samplers Woolamina, and it's a little sheep. Look at it. How cute is this? I'll probably stitch this in like February. But Rachel actually means little lamb in Hebrew, and I just thought this was the cutest thing, so I was like, how can I not? How can I not? Again, it was $5, so Plum Street Samplers, love it. Then the next two charts were things I actually have like had on my wish list and had on my list that I want to purchase eventually. And it just worked out that this was when I got to do that. So the first project chart I got is Any Town, Tiny Town. I considered buying this last year when it was Keepsakes exclusive, but I knew I was in no place to start stitching it and kit it up or anything. So I was like, I'm gonna wait till I'm closer to like actually working on it until it's released. Like I can wait a year, it really doesn't matter. And so when I saw it on sale, I was like, well, now is the perfect time to do it. So I want to get the more Any Town, Tiny Town as well. So my plan for these is actually to customize them to be similar to my hometown and have buildings that like remind me of my childhood. We have this awesome poster of my hometown that was created for a festival back in like 2008, 2010, something like that. And it's iconic to me and my childhood because it was always hanging up in all of the local businesses and the local shops around town. And so I just thought how fun it would be to take this painting that has all the buildings that I recognize and have stories with and recognize the painting and combine it with, you know, my love for cross stitch and kind of base it off of the Any Town, Tiny Town and make a little Spencerport Tiny Town. The poster is called Someplace Special, so I'll probably name it, you know, something, either Someplace Special or Special Tiny Town or something fun like that. But I haven't even begun to attempt to rechart this because it really intimidates me a lot, but I'm hoping having the iPad will help. Bridget introduced me to Stitch Fiddle, which is an amazing way to like rechart things and just kind of play around with your charting and customizing things and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that tool will help a lot, and now that I have this pattern, I just need to get the other one and then I can go to town. But for now, I have enough other projects to work on. This is on the back burner, but like much closer to being on the front burner since I originally thought of the idea. So I don't know if that made any sense, but needless to say, coming soon, but like not really soon. The last pattern I got from that shop is the Fox by Cottage Garden Samplings. I'm sure most of you have probably seen this before. When I first started seeing it on Flosstube, it was not my style or something I was interested in, but the more I saw it and also just like the more I stitched and more my taste grew, I became obsessed with it. I jumped on the bandwagon. I do think it's super pretty. I'm gonna take it out of here because I feel like the glare on this one is way worse than the others. And especially now that I have so much blue fabric, seems like a good time to stitch the Fox. So, I got all the colors. I had most of the DMCs in stash, and then I just had to buy the two Gentle Arts threads in the orange DMC. So like the actual colors of the Fox. But yeah, and I have one other piece of exhibition before we talk more about the Fox, but that's the last chart I got. The last thing I got from the Louisville shop that was closing was some 40 count linen in the color Silver Mist by Mystic Fabrics. And I will open this up, and it's a very like cool grayish. I don't know how it'll be on camera. I can't even tell what color it is in person, so who knows what color it'll be on camera. But it's like a gray, like it's a blue hue, but I wouldn't call it a blue fabric. And it's got some light modeling, but nothing too crazy. I wasn't sure what to expect. I had never seen this fabric before in person, but I saw it in the shop and I was like, well, that seems neutral enough that I won't hate it, like taking a risk on it because it's final sale, I can't return it, and it was half off. So I was like, seems worth it. It was like $15 for a fat quarter. So I'm really happy to add that to my stash and hopefully find something good to stitch on it. All right, let's talk about plans. So this video I wanted to serve as kind of my wrap up to June. You saw what I worked on for the rest of the month, but I'll also talk about what I want to work on in July. So for months now, I have been planning to do Christmas in July, so I'm very excited that July is finally here and it's time to pull out all the Christmas things. I had a lot of ideas throughout the year of what I was gonna do. I was like, I'm gonna do all these things and I'm gonna work on so many projects and new starts and blah, blah, blah. And now it's here, I'm like, I have 2 jobs, I have to go to school, I have to like take care of my family, you know, whatever. So we're not gonna go too crazy, but I have picked out 4 projects and I think I'm just gonna do a week for each project. So I'm gonna do 2 whips, 2 new starts, and then my 5th project that I'm probably gonna end up working on in July is Delft Blooms, the blue project that I just showed you a couple minutes ago, because it's new and I love it, but also it's not a focus, so it's more just like, I might wanna pull it out, but I also might not, we'll see. So I'm gonna show you the whips first that I'm gonna be working on for Christmas in July. First we have the Hess alphabet sign. I don't know, I don't really have a name for this one, but I do actually have a mock-up of it now that I can put up because I was able to use Stitch Fiddle and Markup to get a mock-up of it. And I'm currently sitting at 41% complete. And this is 2/2 on a taupe Lugana. And it's so cute. This is from an old, I guess I should talk about the actual chart. This is from an old Almalin Designs booklet that my grandma gave me. And there's a bunch of Christmas patterns in here, but I'm specifically using the Santa alphabet, which is a full alphabet. It's all capitals. And each letter has their own little Santa. And the only good picture on the cover is like of this welcome sign here. But that gives you an idea. And as you can see, or may be able to see, the colors are charted in 822, which is like a light tannish, which obviously was not gonna match my taupe fabric. So I switched it to, I don't know, 839, a nice chocolatey brown. And this is where we are. I don't know how much I'm gonna finish in July because I'm only working on it for a week, but I think I'll get a good chunk of it done. The H is completely done. The E really just needs the Santa and like the very bottom part, and then the 2 S's obviously aren't really done at all. But the Santas are super dense with color changes. Like there's like several flosses in here. There's a bunch. Because there's like 3 of every shade of red and green and white. But honestly, it's super cute. When I'm stitching it, I'm like, is this really worth it? But then when I finish it, I'm like, oh yeah, it is. So I'm only backstitching the Santas at this point. I think I'm gonna leave the letters plain, but that could change when it's done. And this is also gonna be a gift. And also Hess is it's gonna be my married name. I'm getting married next fall, so I wasn't gonna stitch my maiden name because it's only gonna be my name for like another year. Whereas hopefully this one will be my name for, you know, like 40 or 50. So at least well, 40 would only make me 60. So yeah, so a long time, not 40 years, way more than 40 years, I would hope. But anyway, this has name sign. This is my first whip, even though I haven't assigned weeks yet. We're just gonna see what the vibes are. My next whip that I'm gonna work on for July, I'm super excited to pull back out because I haven't worked on her, I think since like January. I'd have to look to see, but I'm pretty sure I haven't pulled it out since January. And that is Celtic Christmas or Celtic Noel by Lavender and Lace. I don't actually know which is the correct name of it, but that's the cover photo if you've never seen it before. And I was gifted this whip by a viewer, and thank you so much. I said thank you before, but I will never stop being grateful because it's just gorgeous. And so I didn't stitch all this myself, but I have put stitches in it since I received it. And it's 2/2 on a 28 count linen. I'm really not sure what color it is. I think it's just the called for linen, and it's all the called for DMCs as well. So I'm ready to work on her. I'll give you the full effect of it, and then we'll go up close and show you where we are. This one is not on the iPad, it's just a paper pattern, so I don't have any percentages or anything. But yeah, there's Celtic Christmas. I'm really excited. Depending on the day, sometimes I'm really excited to work with the gold thread again, even though I know it's hellish and horrible. But then other times I like remember that it's hellish and horrible, and I'm like, ooh, I'm actually not super excited for that. But I think I'm more excited than I am not excited. So I think the biggest thing, honestly, in getting started with this is pulling it out, even though I can't use my iPad to keep checking the pattern. I'll probably end up like taking a picture of it and putting it in GoodNotes so I can highlight on there instead of on the paper, because it's also just nice because it stands up. Like I have a stand for the iPad, whereas my paper patterns are always flat. So like, anyway, doesn't matter. Okay, so other than those two whips, I have two new starts that I mentioned, and the first one you may have guessed is the fox. This isn't necessarily Christmas, but it is wintry, and I thought that was close enough. It gives me winter vibes, and also I want to start it, and I can, and I'm calling it Christmas in July. So yeah, I have not picked the fabric that I'm going to use for this yet. I have several options, and the greens and grays look good on all of them because green and gray look good on everything. But I was waiting till I got the oranges in to actually decide what fabric I'm going to use, and I just haven't done that yet. So this is the fox. I showed it to you already, but it will be a Christmas in July start, and fabric to be determined. You'll see it after I start it and tell you. And then my last start for Christmas in July is a Mill Hill kit, actually. This is my first Mill Hill kit, and I got this when I was at Keepsakes for StitchCon, and it's just a beaded ornament. I didn't necessarily buy this for Christmas in July, but I just wanted a Mill Hill kit, period, because I want to practice beading before I have to bead Celtic Christmas. So I was like, well, I should get a Mill Hill kit. That makes sense. You know, it's a good way to practice. And I've done perforated paper before now, so, you know, let's do it. And this was just the first one I found that I liked and wanted to stitch. And then when I was planning for Christmas in July, you know, everything just fit together really well. So starting this, I am very intimidated to start it. So please, if you have any Mill Hill recommendations or tips or whatever, please let me know because I'm scared. Yeah, like no rhyme or reason other than just like it's intimidating to try a new skill. So I am excited though. I might honestly start this on 4th of July because I have the day off, and so it's a good day to really focus and get a good chunk of stuff done rather than on a day, like on a weeknight after I get home from work. But we'll see. I'm not committing myself to anything. I also might stitch on everything on 4th of July. Really, we're not doing anything other than like sitting at home and having hobby time, which is our favorite thing to do. So we'll see what happens, but it's super cute. I can't wait to hang it up on the tree. It's gonna be so cute. But that is everything. Thank you all for sticking around this long if you made it. I really love getting to catch up with everyone and share what I've been working on. And I don't know, the past couple of months, I feel like this spring, I was kind of not super inspired about my cross stitch. I took a couple of breaks and had like more reading heavy weeks and cross stitching weeks, which is like fine, but just this summer and especially this month, I just feel so like reinvigorated into this craft and this hobby, and it just feels really great. And I just have so many ideas. Like I just have so many things I want to do. My wish list is growing so much, especially seeing mid-year whip parades. It's like tripled in size. Between StitchCon, mid-year whip parades, and just like talking with people more about what they're doing, I'm like, okay, so my wish list is like really long. So if anyone wants to see my wish list, let me know. I thought that could be fun to share, like, ooh, let's see what's on my wish list, because then I get to talk about it, but I don't actually have to buy it. Because I'm trying to limit myself. I think I'll be up to almost 15 whips at the end of July. assuming I don't start more than the things I've already planned to start. And so that's like a lot for me. When I started Flosstube, I had 3 whips. So yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but other than I love this community and I love getting to connect with people who also love this craft and knowing people who love this craft. Like, this is the first time in my life that that's happened, like this Flosstube chapter. And so it's just amazing, and I love all of you who take the time to watch and also who make the time to make videos so that I can watch. And I just want to say thank you. And I hope you all are having an amazing summer, an amazing week, and I will see you in my next Flosstube.